Hey YouTubers, it's Regina. It's Friday morning. I just got in from work, still got my scrubs on, but I wanted to just quickly tell you what happened yesterday at my doctor's appointment with Dr. Smalls. Went in to see him and basically confessed that, I've just been a bonehead by not taking my Protonics because I just could not fathom that post-op, after losing 99 pounds, that I would have reflux, because I didn't have reflux when I was 300 pounds. Why would I have reflux now? Well, of course, Dr. Smalls is my love bug, and he's so sweet and so gracious. And he said, well, sometimes we get reflux, and he says we, instead of calling me out, he says we get reflux from eating too quickly or eating too much. And he started to draw on the whiteboard, which is what they do when you first go in for your surgical consult. So if you can see, that's the belly. I know my stomach is weird, but that's how I drew a belly. And you can see where the lap band is. That's your lap band, and this is your little pouch. And what he said happens is when you overeat, is you change the angle of your pouch, which I guess is what people are referring to when they say, oh, you can stretch your pouch, you can stretch your pouch. So instead of this being like a nice sharp line here where it goes straight down, a nice sharp line here where it goes straight down, you kind of blur it and it becomes less angled and more like wider, so to speak. So it makes it easier for the food to come back up, because it doesn't have to go around like the angled curve. It just has a wider berth to come back up. So don't overeat. Don't chew your food well, so that your pouch is able, and your stoma is able to let that food trickle through. I always tell people it's like sand through an hourglass. It's like sand through an hourglass. Sand versus marbles, right? But do I always follow my own advice and chew very slowly and chew very well? No, of course not. I'm human, and I'm not always mindful of chewing 20 times. I probably chew 8 to 10 times, if I'm honest. But obviously that's not sufficient. That's not going to cut it. I do still have restriction, and he says that's due in part because of the trauma that's been going on at my stoma site. He said it's very similar to the type of restriction you have immediately post-op. It's just some swelling there, so you get that restriction, and having the band in place causes a tiny bit of restriction. So for now, we're not going to put any fluid in the band. I had already had an appointment with him scheduled for August 12th, which is just 4 weeks and 2 days or so. So I will see him August 12th, and at that time we will do a fill. Probably 2.5 to 3 mLs, which my first ever fill was 3 mLs. And he thinks my sweet spot, based on what's happened and what's gone on, is probably between 3.5 and 4.5 is he's thinking is my sweet spot. And I would be so good with like 3.5. That would be like perfect, because in thinking back now, I remember what that was like. I still was able to eat like a cup of food. That's when I could really eat a cup of food, have it go down, not have any trouble, and my appetite was decreased. So my hair looks awful. What else? I'm going to continue the Protonics and the Reglan for now. He'll reevaluate the need for the Reglan on my August 12th appointment. Protonics, I'm devoted to Protonics now. You couldn't pry it out of my hands. I'm for real. I'll be like this, somebody tried to take my Protonics. It's such a horrible feeling, and for me personally, I wasn't having classic reflux symptoms. I wasn't having pain or burning sensation or anything like that. It was while I was eating, my food would not go down. So I kept thinking I was stuck. I'm stuck. Why am I stuck? This is the same food I eat all the time. Well, it was quote unquote stuck because it was never actually going down. It was just staying there. So as I'm trying to eat the same quantities I've always eaten, it doesn't want to do that because the train is backing up on the tracks, right? Okay. What else? We talked about maintenance, which I hope is just around the corner. I'm hoping for Labor Day. I think the next 6 weeks I can get off. Well, not 6 weeks. Labor Day is a little more than that, isn't it? 8 weeks? Almost 8 weeks or something like that. I don't know. But I'm hoping around Labor Day to be at my surgeon school. So that's like 23 pounds, somewhere around there. So if I say I need to lose 25 pounds in the next 2.5 months, I'll be at his goal. And I would like to have a surgery date with Dr. Katzen by then as well. I submitted to insurance. I think it's been like 2.5 weeks. Haven't heard anything yet. So maybe no news is good news. They haven't rejected me yet. What else? I think that's it. I don't really have too much to say. Thanks everybody for shouting me out, being concerned, and I have some new subscribers this week, so that's awesome. I think that's it. So chew, people. Chew, chew, chew. Wendy's done videos about it. Other people have talked about chewing and the importance of chewing. Don't drink with your meals. I never do that. I would be dead if I did that. I cannot eat and drink. But chew your food well, because changing the angle that pouch comes out to this angle allows a wider passageway for that food to back up. So be very careful. And don't forget, if you have a stuck episode, you should be on liquids for 24 hours afterwards to allow the stoma and the esophagus to rest and heal. That's all I have. I will update in another week or so, or if something really interesting or good happens, I'll post again. But if not, take care and have a good weekend, you guys.